morning students. Today it is lecture 7 under thermal properties of matter. In the last class we have learnt the concept of the one regarding need pattern question, which is where earlier we have learnt the expansions, where linear, superficial and cubical expansion. In that we have learnt one relation between alpha, beta and gamma, right? After this we have learnt one equation based on how density varies with temperature. That expression we have learnt. After learning that, we have learnt one need point based on the one loss of time, loss or gain of time when you use the one pendulum clocks. So those things we have learnt in the last class. Today I say one more need point based on the same expansion regarding thermal expansion. Okay, the second point today, let me tell you about regarding the one bimetallic strips. Bimetallic strip. So here in this we take two strips. Bi means two. Two strips are taken and these two strips of equal length, both are of equal length of two different materials. So two strips are made up of two different materials of equal length and these are heated. As and when they are heated, they just expand. Due to expansion, they bend. The bending of the metal rod takes place and that can be explained in the one bimetallic strip. So let me give an example here. Here I take an example of copper and iron. So I take two strips. So these two strips will be of this type. Let me say of equal length. So these two strips of equal length. Let me say this is made up of copper and this is made up of iron. So for your reference, I just make this one dark line and this is of iron and this is of copper. Both are of equal length. Both are of same size. So different materials are there. So this before expansion we have this position. As and when we heat, these metals gets expanded. So that due to thermal expansion takes place. You are heating this, so you are giving heat due to which expansion takes place and that is called thermal expansion. Whenever the one thermal expansion takes place, at that time these will be, let me say the temperature for this is T. Now this metal after heating they bend like this. I am giving temperature T. So this is temperature T1, this is temperature T2. I say before, this is nothing but called as before heating is. Before heating. before heating. Look at this. This is after heating. After heating. What do you want to say here? I want to say T2 is greater than T1. What do you mean by this? T2 is greater than T1 means temperature is more, that is before heating. So you get that is T2 is greater than T1 means I just draw this one slightly bigger, then you'll understand much better. So you can observe that. So this bending of this metal takes place due to expansion, because the T2 here, T1 is this one. So T2 is greater than T1 means this bending of this metallic strip takes place. And you can observe here these two are different materials. Nothing but one is this copper metal, another is iron metal. Both are metals and both expands. Both are solids. Both expands. So due to expansion, what happens? Bending takes place. And when you observe bending of the strip, you can observe the outer side, that is copper strip will be bending outer side. Why do you say copper strip is bending outside? Means the one which is having greater linear coefficient of expansion, you will bend outer side. That is none other than convex side. You can say bending outside means outer side means the one which is having larger coefficient of expansion. That is called as the bending outside, and that is none other than copper, which is having more coefficient of expansion compared to iron. So how much it is and how do you say more coefficient of expansion means you can explain this copper which is having, that is 1.7 into 10 raised to minus 5 per degree centigrade. This iron which is having 1.2 into 10 raised to minus 5 per degree centigrade. What do you observe from this? The one which is having larger coefficient of expansion, that is alpha is more. The one whichever alpha is more, bend outwards. Bend outwards. That is none other than you call it as, that is convex side. You can say convex side. The one which is having more coefficient of expansion will bend. That bend outwards, due to which that is nothing but convex side. So among these two, copper is having more, therefore it will be bending outside than compared to this iron. So this is outside, it is bending, hence we call it as the bimetallic strip is a good example, and due to which you can say the one more coefficient of expansion will bend outside, and due to the one metals always expansion takes place, and that is nothing but bending takes place. This we are observing here. Okay. Particularly for bimetallic strip we are using two strips, and most of the times we prefer to use brass. One is brass, compulsory we use, one of them is brass and another may be iron, copper, whatever you want. Why do we take brass means, particularly this brass which is of 1.8 into 10 raised to minus 5 per degree centigrade compared to this copper. So most of the times we prefer to use brass for the bimetallic strips. Here I have taken an example of copper and iron. I explained how this bimetallic strip is explained. So most of the times whenever they use this bimetallic strip, particularly they prefer to use brass, which is having the coefficient of expansion where alpha is nothing but 1.8 and raised to minus 5 per degree centigrade. So this is one neat point yet observed. So among two metallic strips which is having more by that one coefficient of expansion, nothing but linear coefficient of linear expansion, that will bend outwards after heating, after expansion, and that is convex side. Bend outwards, that is convex side. This point you have to remember, right? So this is one more called as the one neat point you can observe. One more neat point I want to say today, where you are learning about thermal stress. So let me tell you what is thermal stress. This is the second neat point. Okay. Now this is the second neat point. Yesterday we have learned one neat point where loss or gain of time using simple pendulums. That I have explained. And one more I say today, which is thermal stress. The third need point, which is thermal stress. What do you mean by thermal stress? Please observe stress. Particularly, you know, stress means force per unit area. What is thermal stress? You are providing heat. For that, any of the metal rod, for that you are supplying heat, due to which stress will be appeared, and that is called thermal stress. How do you explain this? Where you know, here for example, for this I just give an example where if you have two rigid supports, this is the one rigid support, this is the one rigid support, you have fixed a rod, this is the one rod, this is the one rigid support, this is the one rigid support. This is before heating you have got the one rod, and this rod of length, this is of length L, this is of length L, and area of cross section is A. Area of cross section is A. Let me say the area of cross section is A. Now what we want to do is, I just want to hit this rod. So I have already fixed a rigid support. This rod is already fixed to a rigid support, which is of length L, and area of cross section is A. Now I want to hit this. So what I just do is, this rigid support is there here. Now this will be, rod is heated. So what happens when you are heating this by using some candle? You can observe they are heating this. The rod starts bending like this. This will take place. Why do you say this one? Because here, whenever you are heating this, that rod bends. This is after heating it is. After heating. So the length changes. That length, the new length is, I can say this new length is L dash. Okay. So what do you want to say here? After heating, that length is L dash. What do you want to say here means expansion takes place. So what expansion takes place? Here there is no space to expand here. There is no space to move forward. Here this is the fixed position. Already it is fixed for a rigid support. So now whenever it is heated, there arises a compressive strain for this rod, and that compressive strain takes place, due to which there is no space for expansion or contraction for this rod further because of this fixed rigid support. So there arises a compressive strain. So due to heating, there arises a compressive strain on this rod, hence the thermal strain exists. What do you mean by thermal strain? Means nothing but longitudinal strain. Longitudinal strain takes place. There is a fractional change in length will take place here, and that you observe that, and due to which it starts bending. The bending of this rod takes place. So you can observe here, when you observe the one stress, let me say I am hitting this, therefore that is called as thermal stress, I said. That is thermal stress. So what do you mean by thermal stress? A force developed per unit area. You can say that the force developed per unit area, which when thermal expansion or contraction is resisted, that is called as thermal stress. So force developed per unit area. It is nothing but, you can say, force per unit area is called as stress, you know. So here thermal stress is nothing but force per unit area which is developed, that is due to heating, and that can be explained when thermal expansion takes place, due to which you can say force per unit area developed due to force per unit area. Force per unit area developed during contraction is resisted due to what? Due to is resisted during thermal expansion. Is resisted during thermal expansion. So you can say the force per unit area is said. You know thermal stress. Usually you remember thermal stress means thermal stress which is equal to force per unit area is. Thermal stress is force per unit area. Since I have taken the rod and this rod due to expansion the length changes. That you observe in elasticity chapter. In the previous earlier mechanical properties of solids you have learned 3 types of elasticities. In that if an object which is increased with its length then you speak about Young's modulus of elasticity. So now I say the one rod which is increased by its length, so it prefers to take the elasticity, particularly Young's modulus of elasticity. So you know according to Young's modulus of elasticity, where it is Young's modulus of elasticity, you prefer to explain this modulus of elasticity. Young's modulus of elasticity we speak about here. So what is this? Y is equal to, where it is defined as usually longitudinal stress by longitudinal strain. But here I am hitting the rod, so I speak about, instead of longitudinal stress, I speak about thermal stress. So that is called as thermal stress divided by thermal strain. Thermal stress divided by thermal strain. So here already you know thermal stress is force per unit area. What do you mean by thermal strain? Here there is a fractional change in length will takes place. Fractional change. You know change in length means delta L. So you know change in length. Where change in length means it is delta L. What is fractional change in length? Fractional change in length is equal to, it is delta L by L. Fractional change in length means it is delta L by L. Now this can also be called it as longitudinal strain. It is longitudinal strain. This is nothing but delta L by L. So here longitudinal strain is also called as, this is called as thermal strain. Thermal strain. So please observe this longitudinal strain is also called as thermal strain or also called as the one fractional change in, the one nothing but the fractional change you can observe, that is delta L by L. Now what do you need to say here? Here Young's modulus is equal to thermal stress by thermal strain. This thermal strain is nothing but longitudinal strain. So this I write it as where y is equal to, that is F by A divided by, this is delta L by L. Okay, so y is equal to F by A divided by delta L by L. This is the numerator, this is denominator factor. Right? Now this, now you can also explain this where thermal stress means force per unit area. So force per unit area is equal to y into delta L by L. Therefore, this thermal stress can be written as, now you know Young's modulus here. So this is the thermal stress I have written, force per unit area. Here in the using the Young's modulus of elasticity. Now you can explain where it is. I can write here, this stress definition is force per unit area. Now I am getting this. So I write now only for this one stress here. Then I write for thermal stress here. Stress is equal to force per unit area. So here in this case, this is force per unit area is stress. Now I want to speak about thermal stress. Thermal stress is equal to y into thermal strain. So y into thermal strain means you can write here this formula where thermal stress is equal to y into, this is nothing but delta L by L. What is this delta L by L? Where it is delta L by L is nothing but called as thermal strain. Okay. Now this can also be written as, in the previous class we have learned the linear expansion, where we have learned where delta L by L is equal to alpha delta T. This concept we have learned. I think you are familiar to this. This we have learned in the previous class according to the linear expansion, where we have learned delta L by L is equal to alpha delta T. This delta L by L can also be written as, this is nothing but y into alpha delta T. This is the one formula for thermal stress. Now, for example, if you want to say with respect to what is the force developed per unit area, this thermal stress is force per unit area. So now I say force developed is equal to, what is the force developed during thermal strain? Thermal stress means it is where you can write y into A into alpha into delta T, where this is nothing but, this is the expression for force developed. What is thermal stress? Thermal stress is equal to y into alpha into delta T. This you can write for thermal stress. This is for force developed here, because you know where y is equal to F by A. You can say this is nothing but F by A stress. So here this is F by A equal to this. Now if you want to say only for F, at that time we write this. So this thermal stress can also be written like this, where it is y into alpha into delta T, or you can say y into delta L by L. What do you mean to say here alpha? Alpha is nothing but coefficient of linear expansion. What is y? Young's modulus of elasticity, preferably only for the one solids, where different materials will have different Young's modulus of elasticity. What is delta T? Delta T is rise in temperature. So you can observe the force developed for the one during thermal stress means you can say y A into alpha into delta T. Okay. So please observe, we have two formulas for thermal stress. Suppose if the problems are given based on fractional change in length means you can use y into delta L by L. By chance if they say with respect to change in temperature means at that time delta L by L is none other than called as alpha into delta T. You can take here where this delta L by L is alpha into delta T. So you have one more formula y alpha delta T. For example, if they ask to calculate what is the force developed during thermal stress means you can use y into A into alpha into delta T. They prefer to give Young's modulus of elasticity. They also provide you area of cross section of that rod, and they give linear coefficient of expansion for that rod as well as rise in temperature. At that time you give the expression for force. Right? This force is expressed in Newton. This is how you calculate for thermal stress. So this is one more the neat point you come across here. This you come across due to what? Whenever the one rod, which is a rod fixed to a rigid support, is heated, it expands. And there is no space to expand here. Maybe the one space, at that time what happens? It bends. Maybe the one nothing but due to expansion there arises a compressive strain. And that compressive strain arises due to the one heating, and that you can observe here. Force per unit area developed during expansion or contraction is resisted during thermal expansion. Resisted means what? It opposes, due to which you get thermal stress. This is what you can observe, and this stress you already know from the previous chapter, Young's modulus of elasticity, where in the elasticity chapter, force per unit area. But here I am heating this, due to which I say it is nothing but called thermal stress. And now to explain this rod, this is a solid substance. So different materials will have different modulus of elasticity, and prefer to use here only it expands along its length. Hence we prefer to go for Young's modulus of elasticity. And due to which you already know in the previous chapter mechanical properties of solids, where Young's modulus of elasticity can be defined as it is defined as the ratio of longitudinal stress by longitudinal strain. But here I say it is heated, due to which we say thermal stress by thermal strain. And this thermal stress already you can explain force per unit area. Thermal strain, it is nothing but change in length per unit length. So that you know, change in length means delta L. What do you mean by delta L? It is L dash minus L. That is called as change in length. Here fractional change in length means it is nothing but delta L by L. So we get this expression, right? And now using this, you come across the one expression for force developer, that is for a rod during thermal stress. So this concept you remember, you expect problems on this in the one need questions, and maybe sometimes while solving problems also you expect the one problems on this. So be careful about this formula, you can get the one problems in this. Okay, and this completes the some need points. Now I go for the next part in this, where we come across the practical applications during the one heating, nothing but during expansion. Already you know, due to heating there arises an expansion. That expansion we call it as thermal expansion. So what are the practical applications in day-to-day life? We have lots of examples. I give few examples which are very familiar to you in our day-to-day life. That you come across in a regular day-to-day life, you come across those examples. I will just highlight them, you can understand much better. That is the applications of the thermal expansion. Applications of thermal expansion. Expansion means here we come across the few examples in our day-to-day life. In the earlier class I gave an example where if you have taken a glass bottle which is already fitted with metallic lid, a glass bottle fitted with metallic lid, and whenever it is fixed, already the lid is closed, sometimes you are unable to open it easily. You are not able to open it easily. It means you cannot screw open that. You cannot screw that easily. Screw that easily means you cannot open the one cap of that bottle. At that time, what we prefer to use is, we just take the one, we put the warm water on that lid, neck of that bottle. You can say the glass bottle, at the neck of the bottle we just put a warm water. Warm means only when with small little temperature it will be there. If you put a warm water on that, due to which that you can open the lid very easily, which can unscrew the lid easily, that explains thermal expansion. What is the cause here means, since you are putting warm water, that metallic lid will expand. Slightly it expands, due to which you are unable, that is which you are unable to open it, that can be opened very easily, that can be unscrewed very easily after putting warm water on that lid. Okay, so that the neck of the one bottle, nothing but at the neck of the bottle, that is the lid which is made up of metallic lid, can be opened easily by putting warm water on it. So you can say the bottle lid is opened easily by putting warm water at its neck. preferably that will open very easily due to expansion of the lid because of warm water. You can unscrew the lid easily, right? This is the first example. And one more point I can say here, second point, where you know the one where it is a space is left between two rails. So you already know the rails on which the train will be moving. That rails, always there is a space between the two rails is kept. What is the reason behind this means? You can say space is left between the two rails. Space is left between the two rails. Two rails. What is the reason means? Here. So there is a space between the two rails. What is the reason? During summer, these rails are made up of some metallic strips. So during summer, it expands. As the season changes, the one during summer expands, during winter it contracts. So due to the one expansion and contraction of these rails, as the season changes, naturally, whenever the train moves on these rails, then it will be derailed. Means it meets into an accident. That the train will be meeting into an accident as and when it is moving on the two rails if it is not arranged properly. So what you are doing is, therefore always there is a space between the two rails, and that space is filled with fish plates, due to which it will be attached, and hence during summer, even if it expands, there is no problem. At the same time, during winter, even if it contracts, these fish plates will be arranged in such a way between the two rails, and the space is left between them, and they are joined by using fish plates, and there is a space between the two rails that helps the one to avoid accidents for the trains. So remember, this is due to what? During expansion, summer expands. The rails will expand. During winter, it contracts. That will make an accident for the trains. That will not be made to do that. Means we are using the space between the two rails. At the same time, we are placing fish plates. That fish plates will arrange these rails one after the other, due to which even during summer, if it expands, or during winter, if it contracts, that will never make the disturbance for these rails. That will never help the one train to get accident. That will make the train to move smoothly over these rails. Right? This is the one point. What is the third point you can observe here means the bridges and the roofs are always, that is, you can observe the bridges and roofs are made up of steels. Roofs are made up of steels, and the steel girders, you can say steel girders, and put on rollers. What do you mean to say steel girders are put on rollers means, if you have, this is the one roofs. I can say this is the one. So these bridges are roofs. So whenever you construct a bridge or a roof, the roofs of the houses, they always made up of steel girders. So they are placing steel girders on the top. At the same time, they are using the rollers. So during these steel girders will expand. During winter they contract. As and when they expand or contract, these rollers will make that not to avoid any of the one expansion here, that is due to which they slide over it and helps the one roofs or bridges to be comfortable even during summer and during winter. So always the bridges are constructed with steel girders. They are made of steel. So this steel which is of metal, during summer it expands, during winter it contracts. That will be avoided by these rollers. As and when they move over these rollers, they will be making comfortable using these rollers to fix it clearly. Hence they are using steel girders or rollers to construct the one bridges or roofs of houses. So the one bridges and one more are roofs of houses. Roofs of houses are constructed by using these steel girders and the one rollers. Right? This is one more example. And one more point I want to say here. In the previous class I explained about pendulum clocks. So one more example I can say, this pendulum clocks. Pendulum clocks are made of inward, material. So here I said in the earlier class, inward material. So this pendulum clocks are made up of inward material means where nickel and iron, which is the combination of that we are using here, where I said in the earlier class 64% and 36%, and this inward material is used for pendulum clocks. This pendulum clocks, as the season changes, during summer the one length of the pendulum clock increases, during winter length of the pendulum clock decreases. Due to expansion and contraction, the length changes of the pendulum. To avoid this, they prefer to use this inward material because this is having lower coefficient of expansion that will help the pendulum clocks to give accurate readings. That will never change the time, and therefore we prefer to use pendulum clocks using inward materials. We are using different types of materials to prepare pendulum clocks, but preferably made up of inward material will give accurate timings even as the one season changes. It will never show any change in time because of low coefficient of expansion for this inward material. So this is one example you can observe. One more I want to say here, the one bimetallic strip. Just now I gave one neat point using copper and iron. Now I will say the one uses of bimetallic strips. Uses of bimetallic strip. Bimetallic strip. What does it explain? I said bimetallic means two strips which is of equal length. And in that I said already example copper and iron. But now I could particularly they prefer to use brass material for bimetallic strips. So preferably they use brass which is having 1.8 into 10 raised to minus 5 per degree centigrade. This coefficient of expansion is there which is having the one brass material, due to which they prefer to use brass along with iron. So here this bimetallic strip, what is the use in our day-to-day life means we can use this bimetallic strip for many purposes. For automatic flash, that is switches. Many a times we are using switches, particularly in the one switches. These switches on and off system. On and off can be used for those wherever you come across on and off switches. At that time we prefer to use this bimetallic strip. Particularly in the one heaters, where geysers. In geysers we have heaters. That is geyser, where also we can use on and off switch. One more you can have iron box, particularly iron box, which is where you can use on and off system, automatic flashing system, automatic flashing systems, on and off system. Wherever you come across automatic flashing, at that time we prefer to use this bimetallic strips. So automatic on and off systems, and also you can say particularly in thermostats, Wherever you come across the one thermostats, electric iron box, I can say particularly thermostats. This is of electric iron box, particularly electric iron box, thermostats. At that position there we need switches, on and off system, automatic flashing system. So as and when you on it, you get a light, and at the same time as you just off it, you get a light. And that you observe automatic flashing system, particularly in geysers, electric iron box, thermostats, and also you can also use for indicators. Many vehicles will be having indicators, and that can be used for indicator bulbs, particularly in many vehicles. That I can say for indicator bulbs. Indicator bulbs. Where for vehicles, indicator bulbs for vehicles, you prefer to use this, the one bimetallic strips, particularly for on and off systems, flashing systems. These are preferred to use here. One more point I want to say here, this is one more, the sixth point I can say, telephone wires. Telephone wires you can observe, where telephone wires or maybe the electric wires you can observe, and electric wires. These are always, they are connected to two poles. If you are connecting tightly for two poles, then naturally they will break into pieces. Because of the one expansion and contraction, they break into pieces due to as the season changes. So therefore, we prefer to use telephone wires or electric wires between the two poles. We just connect them very loosely. We connect them loosely. They are hung in such a way downwards, hung in downwards due to what? Because if they are connecting very loosely, naturally they hang easily, and that will also explain during summer or during winter, it will never the one destroy the one telephone wires, that is even due to expansion or due to contraction, that will never disturb the things. They will hang easily because of connecting loosely between the two poles. These electric wires and telephone wires. So these are the maximum. The applications have given. Still we have as many examples, but these are the comfortably. Remember, you can remember for day-to-day life examples. You come across in all day-to-day life examples. Remember these, the applications of thermal expansion. So today I have explained the thermal expansion and two need points along with the thermal stress.